And good morning, everybody. I'm not quite as familiar as many of the presenters earlier. However, the company I work for is very familiar. Okay. So I'm going to keep this short. I know we have lunch after this, so the lights are dim. People might want to go to sleep.
You have plenty of time.
Just an overview of what I'm going to talk about. I'll just do a brief introduction, then discuss the relevance of this presentation, talk a little bit about toll technology and toll industries, and then the two cases that I'm going to talk about, which is where we have used toll systems along with airport systems to assess charges, and then talk a little bit about the future. Okay, so I'm relatively new to the ground transportation and airport arena. I've been in this for 5 years. Gatekeeper Systems, as I said, they've been around a long time, around 20 years, and with Doc Richardson have been involved with AGTA for a long time. Gatekeeper Systems, we provide software for ground transportation management, TNC operations tracking, and we also have the facility to incorporate that with our ground transportation management systems. We have employee parking out at Portland, and we just recently have a stadium parking piece that I'm actually going to use as one of the cases I'm going to discuss. Our systems combine in general with RFID technology, and for the most part we partner with TransCore. I don't have my partner in crime here, no Forrest, so I'm just going to...
Missing.
Yeah. But anyway, so we do a lot of work with them, and they are a key player in the RFID arena and also in toll systems across the country. Okay, just in terms of relevance to Ray's presentation, looking at airport drop-off and pick-up in the UK, charging the public, and there's been some discussion about the benefits and challenges with that. And obviously, if there are significant benefits, this might be something that we want to look at in the US. And along with that, there are the challenges that would be faced here in the US. Ray also did mention a couple of the technologies, the how and the what that might be. Just a brief overview of toll systems and toll roads. We're all familiar with them, some more than others, depending on the state you live in. They are global. If you were to look at a map of Europe, you will see pretty much every country that has toll roads of some form, or tolls of some shape or form. Within the US, that has been growing because of the lack of funding for infrastructure development. So this is one of the ways that roadway funding can be provided. Currently in about 30 states, again, that varies as to how prevalent it is in the states itself. And as of early 2015, there were over 5,000 miles of toll roads. And there's just a couple of the tags that are around. Probably some of you are familiar with those. Map of the states. This is actually from 2013. It's a little old, but it shows you those states where there are toll roads. Kind of difficult to see, but there are an awful lot of red dots on that. Those are all the various agencies and toll authorities that are responsible. So toll roads, why do we care about them? Well, we've obviously got a constantly changing environment and the need to adapt quickly. I just, a quote here that I think everybody is familiar with is, "The only thing that is constant is change." That's a quote from 300 BC. Change is nothing new. What is new is the speed with which change is coming upon us. And as a part of that means we have to be innovative. We also have to look to utilize and transform what is at hand. And here's where, to some degree, the toll systems can be an advantage. They use similar technologies and protocols that can then be built upon in other systems. This kind of gets to one of those buzzwords at the moment, which is interoperability, which is the ability of a system or feature to work with or use parts or equipment of another system. And so that's what we're going to look at in the two case studies I'm going to have go through. Just in terms of interoperation, there is a spectrum. You can be from a very simple type of use, which is currently in place at DFW, Denver, a number of other locations. And this is really where the airport registers the toll authority credential, and then that credential is used within their standard systems to track activity. There are various advantages and disadvantages of that. One of the benefits is limiting the number of toll tags. I mean, vehicles these days, they're whole windshield of toll tags, so of tags, not toll tags specifically. So being able to limit that is a good thing for everybody. And it limits the inventory that an airport needs to retain. The challenge there can be enforcement. In an environment where you have all the key areas are gated, well, you have control. And if a credential has not been registered in the system, there is no ability to get into that location. Where you don't have that, then it becomes a little bit more challenging and enforcement takes on a stronger aspect. And then talking to a greater use of toll technologies. And here is where there can be shared responsibility. The airport has responsibility for some of the things, and the toll authority and their systems can be utilized for others. Just in general, there's a simplified billing and simplified management that's associated with that. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the taxi pool at Logan. And what this system has is the toll authority keeps track of and provides an RFID transponder. There is an account with the toll authority, as there is with the public. And the toll authority manages everything to do with that account. The accounts are generally prepaid. And then the airport actually utilizes the status of that account based on the tag. So they are going to read the credential that is provided by the toll system, and that credential is then verified when they come into the taxi pool. We have an arrangement with the toll systems where we can verify the status of that account, and assuming it is in good standing, the airport can then generate a charge which goes to the toll systems. They vend the gate, so the taxi is now allowed entry, and they also provide a ticket. And that ticket is then used to enable dispatch. So charging and dispatch have been separated, and the management of the charging kind of falls on the toll authority and dispatches on the airport side. Essentially, the dispatch is based on these ticket numbers. The drivers have access to a driver display that shows where they are in the queue, whether they can go and take a bathroom break or whatever while they're waiting. And then once starters call taxis to the curb, those ticket numbers go up along with the location and the number to which they're going to go. And so that has separated the two systems. Just in brief, in terms of responsibility, the toll authority has the accounts, they have the tags. The readers, there's a reader at the entry and exit to the taxi pool, but that reader is also a location in the toll system. So it's like a bridge or a gantry into a payment area. Taxi billing and payment, that is the tollway's responsibility. Account management, that is the toll authority. And then status verification is the airport really along with the toll system. Tickets, dispatch, driver display, they're all part of the airport. And then reporting is on both sides. So the back-end Gatekeeper system has all the audit reporting that then can be verified when the tollway pays the big check at the end of the month. They have not had to manage all the separate accounts for any of those vehicles or do any of the billing associated with that. That's one example. Benefits, we've really just talked a bit about that already. Ability to piggyback, limits management, and effort that's needed on the airport side, while still having the audit authority that is needed. Okay. All right, the next one, this is kind of fun to me because it's a little bit of a divergence, but this is where we are utilizing the toll system to actually charge the public without needing to know anything about the individual who is being charged. This is based on an organization agreement with Sunpass. This is with the Hard Rock Stadium, previously the SLS Stadium in Miami, which is the Dolphins Stadium. The toll system does the charging to the public. What this provides is that sports fans are able to use their Sunpass to get discounted parking. It has benefits. It's a customer service value to both the toll system and to the stadium. Allows for roadway and parking management flexibility, and they also have some real-time reporting. Just how that works, drivers sign up for Sunpass. This is Sunpass Plus, which is kind of an extra, which includes Easy Pay. At the designated parking locations at the stadium, there are personnel with a handheld, and they read when the parker comes up. They scan the transponder. That charge is immediately sent back through the systems to the tolls to Sunpass. Sunpass either acknowledges or denies the charge. That is sent immediately back to the person who is there at that location, and the vehicle is allowed access on it. So just in terms of the benefits, from the parker's perspective, they don't need to have a credit card or cash when they're getting into it. It provides speed of access, and they get a discounted parking. Now, there are various rates there, but just for an example, at one of the lots, which is a $40 lot, they get a $25 parking. For Hard Rock Stadium, this means they've limited the need to handle credit cards, do cash, do any kind of management. It's improved their customer service. It provides real-time tracking, their sort of mobile app views of the data, and it allows them flexibility in choosing where the parking location could be. So at different events, they may have more or less parking areas that they would use for this. So that's just looking at toll technologies, and obviously the use here that makes the most sense and to lead into what Ray's presentation was about is the ability to utilize those systems to charge the public for entry into the airport now. So that's assuming that's a direction we go, that is one of the technologies that could be used and limits the funding side of the charges. We have actually entered into a frequent parker program, provides a similar thing. That's at Fort Myers, that's in the test phase. And looking forward, there are multiple technologies, and I think somebody had made the comment about 2 students a weekend and they can come up with an app. And that's true, but you still have to have the systems behind that take the data and massage it or use it as do the communications aspect. With regard to communications, there are a lot of changes. We're seeing RFID, there's GPS, which is obviously with the TNCs and other mechanisms of using GPS, LPR, license plate recognition, and also combinations of that. At Phoenix, we are using the RFID technology for the majority of the charges that are going to be generated, but we're also pulling in events that have been read by their license plate recognition in their parking systems. That gets communicated in, so it becomes a multi-protocol solution. Bluetooth proximity, that's another new area of communication. GPS, combinations of GPS and RFID, which is where kind of the phone becomes the transponder. And that's it.